Now, if you have a merry-go-round on the Earth, you try to make any experiment to like compare it to the Earth's spin, it's irrelevant because it doesn't work that way.
Well, no,
It's a false equivalency fallacy.
Because you're stuck to the ground. If there was no gravity, you'd fly off, but you're stuck to the ground.
No. Yeah, if there was no gravity, I guess, then the world wouldn't really exist the way we know it.
Question.
But
it's spinning already. So whatever mechanics is applied, we're just talking about the floor moving See, this is the floor moving independently of everything above it, whether that be the atmosphere and the winds going in all different directions and clouds and so on, or the objects that you've released into the air, either you've thrown a ball, shot a rocket, or flown a plane, helicopter, whatever. You know that if you move the floor and it's unattached from an object above it, it's not going to come back down straight away in the place that it was. The floor would have moved, wouldn't it? That's what we've got. The floor's moving. So there should be a difference in, I don't know, travelling in the air east, west, west, east, for example, if the floor's moving. Now, we all understand it, but in this Earth model, what seems to be, again, everything move around as if it wasn't moving. But that's the thing, because nothing is acting like the floor is moving independently of anything above it, the atmosphere or the rocket or the ball. Nothing like that is going on. Is it? At any altitude, anywhere?
Yeah, because it's moving that way.
What way?
So he's saying that gravity is tethering the Earth to the object that left the Earth at all times.
Because gravity is not just responsible for the thing falling down. It's also for the thing falling down and being pulled around with the Earth at exactly the same rate, no matter the distance from the Earth.
I mean, did I strawman you? Correct me if I strawmanned you.
No distance, but
I want to know, correct me if I strawman you. Do you think that gravity has a tether on everything, like not a physical tether, but it's pulling at all times?
As long as you're in the influence, like gravitational influence?
Right, okay. So if that's your argument, then what about things that act stronger than gravity, like anti-gravity, like stuff that would make you move in a way that you wouldn't normally move just based under the power of gravity, like electromagnetism or buoyancy, or maybe even jet propulsion, right? Jet propulsion is going to take you, whatever gravity held on you, once you hop in that jet and you fly in circles and stuff, obviously gravity has no more authority over you because the jet is way more powerful.
When you talk about this, you can't say that it's you're behaving normally, Hank.
What?
Okay, you're in your seat as long as you're not falling, right? So you are still behaving normally.
No, I mean the rocket engine works against gravity.
That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Yeah, there's enough thrust that it can work against gravity at a rate that is enough to lift it off the ground and essentially, or eventually, lift it up into space to create an orbit.
So gravity runs out with altitude, yeah? More gravity here on the floor, less gravity up there, yeah?
Yeah, slightly.
Yeah, okay.
But not much.
Yeah, but not much. So I don't notice any movement of the Earth underneath me. Were you saying that as I gain altitude? Yeah. So you're saying that as I gain altitude, the Earth is going to start spinning underneath. When does that start happening?
No, it's still spinning the same rate.
Why?
But
the Earth is always spinning the same rate. But if gravity is running out, like the force or whatever it is, whatever it's doing is running out. There's less and less of it. So with altitude, gaining altitude, more and more altitude, eventually the Earth would start spinning underneath me. In fact, because the Earth is flying around the sun, there'd be a point when the Earth would start fucking off, leaving me behind. So when does all of this start happening?
That would be beyond the point of geostationary orbit.
Okay,
I don't know.
So when does the Earth start spinning? When? At what altitude?
It doesn't really spot. I mean, from your perspective.
From my perspective, I'm at
80,000 from your view.
Gaining altitude, not at 40,000 feet.
When it would start spinning from your perspective, so you would only face one way. Like you would always face one side of the at all times. That when it would stop spinning, right? For you.
No, I want the Earth to start spinning underneath me, so gravity's running out. So I'm gaining altitude. Let's say I'm facing east.
No, that's not really how it works, though.
Well, you tell me how it works, because you say that the Earth is spinning, and gravity is running out with altitude, because we've got a gradient, apparently. So as I gain altitude, there's less gravity working on me, as it's going round, dragging me round with the Earth. So the Earth would start spinning underneath me. There's less gravity.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of works in an if you know how an orbit works. So the closer you are to an object like the Earth, to a celestial object, the faster you will go, because there's a smaller circle to traverse, right?
Yeah.
And the Earth spins at a specific rate. So at some point when you increase that orbit more and more, the speed that you will absolve that circle, that orbit, will match the rotation of the Earth. So you will always face one side of the Earth, and at that point,
That's interesting. Because the thing I want to point out to you is,
I know you don't believe in that stuff, but
no, I want to point out to you that as you gain altitude, you're increasing your radius. Therefore, if you're going around, you're increasing the distance you would have to go around. Remember this spin of the Earth thing we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Which is about piss all over everything that you've just said. Because as you go up, you're increasing the radius, therefore the distance you would have to go. The gravity's running out, and the Earth is now spinning under. When does the Earth? How many times do I have to ask you? When does the Earth start spinning out? Because at altitude, I'm having to traverse a further distance. Gravity would have to keep pulling me round. I'm having to travel a further distance. I'm actually travelling faster now because I've increased that radius.
Running out. I think that's like the other way around.
No. Increase the radius, increase the distance.
Yeah,
you think you'll start going slower? You think you start going slower? You should, like the Jedi say, you should go extremely faster.
Quick example: if you have a record player and you put a record on the thing, if you put your finger in the middle, your finger will stay right on it, right around the circle, and you can trace around it. Even on a small 45, as you bring your finger out, you might be able to go out halfway, and your arm is whipping around. But if you go to the edge of it, there's no way you can do it. The further you go out from the center point, the faster you have to go completely around. And a flat record proves that.
Let me think about that. Was it this way around or the other way around?
Go put a record on a phonograph. At the middle, by the stem, you can hold your finger right there, and it'll go right around in a nice little circle. Put it to the outside, your hand will be thrown off, just like on a merry-go-round.
Or you can think about it like running track and field. Like if we were going to race, do you want to be on the inside, or do you want to be on the outside, like 30 feet away?
Take a penny and put it on the inside right by the stem on a record player. It'll go around. Put a penny on the outside of the record and see how long it stays on.
But again, you have gravity that's pulling it towards the ground.
Yeah, we know, but gravity's running out with altitude, getting weaker. Problems, because we're having to traverse a further distance. We're having to go faster if we're maintaining, being above the floor and going round with the Earth as it goes and spins. Gravity's running out, further distance. How's that possible?
Oh yeah, I think I got it the other way around. Shit.
See, it would be true if gravity didn't exist. You would be flying off.
But I don't know what's gravity. I'm flying off to where?
It's acceleration towards us wanting to.
That's the effect of things falling down, but not always, happening because helium rises.
I mean, what else do you call it? What other word would you use?
The law of gravity, the effect of the rock will go to the floor, at a calculable rate and acceleration. Yeah, we know that shit. That's a law because it always happens.
Okay, what do you call it?
The law of gravity. We don't know the cause. We can just figure out what we're doing with the object in the medium. You know, the rock in the air, or the helium balloon in the air, and the water object medium.
Okay. I thought Einstein
So by your definition,
Einstein's ooh, yeah, Einstein's right. Newton is wrong.
By your definition, then the law of gravity will keep us towards the ground. So regardless if we're spinning, we're not going to fly off because we want to be towards the ground.
I'm on the ground, yeah, because I'm heavy and this is where I am. Rocks and shit and heavy stuff isn't flying around in the sky unless it's got force attached to it. That's where the gas is. It's apparently not next to a vacuum. Is next to a vacuum but isn't contained from it. But yeah, we're on the floor. That's the law of gravity. You know, shit goes down at a calculable rate. What's the cause of this? No one knows.
But it's next
to law.
It's not next to a vacuum.
That's for you guys to figure out.
This is something you always bring up. Fuck.
Well, yeah, but what's space then?
No, like a vacuum. I don't know what you call a vacuum.
Where is space? How come we don't know? At what point does the planet start spinning, and then you start getting out further and further on your balloon?
Yeah.
Let's say the atmosphere just keeps growing.
You don't go that hard. But
space is not a vacuum. What do you call the vacuum of space?
No, but what? No, I asked, what do you define as a vacuum?
I asked you when the Earth started spinning.
A vacuum is something devoid of air.
Yeah, but there's like a vacuum.
I'll tell you what,
a single thing.
Let's just call it available space.
Available space.
Yeah, that's what space is, isn't it? Space, it's available. An uncontained volume. We're uncontained from it. Jupiter, the giant gas giant, is uncontained from it. The available space. You know, thing that the gas is dispersing in all directions into because it's available space.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's
like essentially vacuum is called by scientists at a certain pressure called a vacuum. Okay.
Yeah.
Essentially what it is.
Yeah. Well,
so do you know that there is a pressure gradient on the Earth?
Yeah.
Yes, we've heard of this.
You have heard of it? Do you believe in it? Or
well, hold on. Where's this patronising line of questioning going to go?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, do you believe that there is a pressure
gradient?
Do you believe that there is a pressure gradient on Earth or not?
Yeah, I'm breathing it, and then when I go to the top of Everest, I have to take a container of breathable air because there's not a lot of oxygen. Gas pressure gradient. Airplanes fly in less pressure than is down here. We all know this. Gas pressure gradient. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So let's say here we have 14.6 psi at sea level. So you go up, and the gas pressure decreases, right?
Yeah.
And what happens if you go further and further up?
I don't know. Never been that high. Yeah.
Yeah, but what would be the logical conclusion? If
are we going to call this science or is this philosophy class?
There's
logical conclusions.
The logical conclusion is we have a gas pressure gradient. My goodness me.
Yeah,
we must have the antecedents. We must have the necessary antecedent then.
No, but what happens when you go higher?
Hold on, is the universe infinite? Do we go on forever? Do we live in a limited system or a finite system? Well, we're breathing gas pressure. The necessary antecedent would be the container, which would probably point to a limited system. So yeah, what's your point?
We're not talking about the universe.
At the moment, you're probably going to start telling me, what's the logical conclusion to gas running out, going to turn into a vacuum.
Right now, gas is equalized pressure. So what would happen?
Would be the other conclusion? If you increase your elevation, the gas pressure decreases. So what happens
on the outside?
Further up,
not on the inside.
You probably reach a limit of the system because the necessary antecedent for gas pressure is a container. Are you going to fucking listen to the answer, Mumbles? Are you actually going to listen to the answer? Or are you going to mumble your fucking ass through it?
Yes, someone else just talked.
Listen, your only chance to listen, because you've been here long enough. You know the necessary antecedent to gas pressure or gas pressure gradient is the container. The demonstration would be required of gas pressure or gas pressure gradient without the container, and the mechanism being, I don't know, one of two ideas, because they can't figure out what the fuck they want to figure out when it comes to gravity. So prove that and use it in a demonstration as the necessary antecedent to the consequent of the fucking air we're breathing. That's what you would have to do, because you are fighting natural law on two accounts.
Alright.
So,
you
have a sky vacuum that is uncontained from is on every single planet. Mars, Jupiter's, for example, where natural law will because the vacuum of space, available volume. That's what gas is going to do. It's going to disperse in all directions until it fills the available volume. That being the space.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
fucking trolling you, mate. Space.
That's what it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So why are we still breathing?
Because there's a gas pressure, because of gravity, down at the Earth, which disperses.
Okay, what's gravity?
Oh my fucking god, man! Come on!
No, not oh my fucking done here long enough, and you should have listened.
Do you know it? Do you know it?
That your own science, even
the
scientifically
force that attract that means mass attracting mass. That's a gravity.
But that's old fucking. I'm gonna have to tell you again that you've been here long enough, and you should have been listening. That's old school gravity superseded Einstein, Benjamin concept.
Okay, so gravity is a consequence of the curvature of space-time.
Yeah, okay. Have you got any science for this theory?
Well, do I have any science? Not really.
Yes.
I'm not a crazy scientist.
This is the problem. Something that you can't scientifically prove is apparently in your model the necessary antecedent to our gas pressure, violating two natural laws.
Okay.
Who's the religious one believing in shit they can't prove?
Are you a scientist?
That's not the point. Have you got any science for your claim? No.
No, but
science stands alone.
Well, that is pretty much the science, but just because I don't.
What's the science? What's the hypothesis? Where's the variables? Let's go.
Well, do you have variables?
Do I care to answer your question of what the fuck gravity is on your? Oh.
No, I mean, dude. It's just because we are like discussing like a topic here.
Yes, but when it comes to the subject of gravity, you've got no science for it. Please understand this.
But if you're, do you consider yourself an expert on the flat Earth model, or on the flat?
What model? What?
No, not okay. I remember. Yeah. Just don't say model.
Do I understand there's no ball, no
but
thing when you make a question about the ball? Do I understand natural law applies when you're talking about gas pressures and back? Yes. If you want to understand the four fundamental parts of it, yeah.
We weren't even talking.
So you know about so you're really knowledgeable about flat Earth. Because I want to learn that stuff, so I can discuss it.
You want to learn that stuff, and yet you still flog this dead horse of mass attracting mass and get upset when you can't.
I'm just saying, like, it's. I don't have to like know everything.
No, you
I don't have to learn everything about.
This is the point. This is the point. If you're believing this stuff, then I want the stuff that you're believing in. You know, the science to back your claim. You should realise by now that there isn't any. That's the point. You got science.
I like the.
Look at how the conversations. I was just evidence you got that and we talked about the Coriolis effect, which is supposed to prove it. So if we can't really prove it or disprove it with the Coriolis effect, what does that mean? It's like null and void. So where do you have any more evidence that the Earth is spinning?
No, even if the Earth is not spinning, it doesn't mean the Earth is flat. That's
that wasn't my claim.
Hold on.
I was talking about the motion of the Earth. That's what subject we're on right now, right?
Sky moving or land moving?
Hold on. So even if the Earth is not spinning, doesn't mean the Earth is not flat. But it definitely destroys your gravity and orbits, doesn't it?
Well, it destroys the explanation for it. So it doesn't totally destroy it completely.
It destroys 1%
observation
or anything of it.
The Earth was to be a globe.
You definitely have to question it.
I'm just saying, even if so, doesn't mean that that's the case. It's not a geocentric model.
Hey, may I ask you a question? Elbor Kua. Like, can I call you elaborate? Like, that's the way that I see your name. So so maybe I'll call you Elab.
I
got people calling me El Barbecua, so that's I'm
I'm not calling you a barbecue. I would like to call you Elab if you're okay with that.
You barbecue. I'm calling you barbecue.
Don't call him late for supper.
Don't call him late for dinner.
Anyway, it's been a week since Les said he wanted to make a point, so what's your point?
No, I spoke up enough.
Also
I'm learning resistance.
Hey, Les.
So what's your topic? What's your topic?
Strength, yes.
We want to know.
We want to know if anybody can demonstrate the Earth spinning or anything like that, Brenda. At what point can we observe?
Bob Nodell showed that the Earth spins. He proved it.
Did he?
Oh, it's settled then. Is that settled science? Okay.
Yes, it is. Has been a long time.
I didn't know that science could ever be settled. It's not like a divorce.
He sounds like he's gonna off. I know he's gonna sound like he's gonna obfuscate a lot. I'd rather talk to who was the other guy we were talking to first.
What, me?
So Bob Nodell showed that there's a 15-degree drift per hour.
15 degrees.
Exactly what's predicted by the globe Earth model.
Sure. But Einstein says that all bodies in motion have relative motion. So by your own scientist, you can't prove it from one of the objects. You have to be on the outside, looking in at multiple objects, and you're stuck here on the ball. You can't do that. So I don't know what you're talking about. Scientific proof? That is the biggest load of bollocks I've ever heard.
You also have to
That's
prove
not what
the
relativity says.
What would cause that?
Let the games begin.
Classical relativity. Look it up.
1, 2, 3, 4. Test. 1, 2, 3, 4. Test.
So
I can hear you.
Somebody asks,
Arnold guy.
what evidence is that the Earth is spinning? It's either we can look up in the sky. It's either the objects in the sky spin around us, or the Earth is rotating.
Yeah, that's what I said.
2 options.
Yeah.
So let's say that I have two merry-go-rounds, one on top of the other like bunk beds, and one is spinning and the camera's on one, and all you can see is the other merry-go-round. You can't see nothing else but motion. How do you determine which merry-go-round was spinning, the one with the camera or the one without the camera, without getting on the outside of the merry-go-rounds?
You would use a gyroscope.
Well, that's what motion is.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
And that's what Bob Nodell used a gyroscope, a fiber optic gyro, to prove that the Earth is rotating.
He didn't even touch it. So just
he
make the claim
actually
that
did it.
Bob,
I would say the
no.
experiment
No, he did the experiment. He did it. He used
No,
a fiber optic.
Hold on, I just want to clear this
Yes,
up.
he did.
He's been here many times. He's been on the Flat Earth Initiative. He's been on many Discord servers, and I've heard him many times say that he himself did not even touch the gyroscope. This is second-hand information. So to make the claim that he did it is wrong.
There's video of Bob with a fiber optic gyroscope
Oh,
in the video,
fiber
and it
optic
shows
gyro.
a 15 degree per hour
My
motion.
goodness me.
There's video of Bob with a gyroscope proving that the Earth rotates 15 degrees an hour.
I remember him making some reference to determining whether it was the ground moving or the sky moving. And I just recently watched Wakey Wakey's video. In fact, I've got like 12 more minutes to watch. And there was a clip of him talking about that very same thing. So
Well, the gyroscope
Yeah,
was
but-
not settled.
encased.
It's not settled, is
No,
what
the,
I'm saying.
the gyroscope
So-
was
It
encased
kind
in a beryllium. The gyroscope was encased in a. It didn't have. The gyroscope couldn't see the sky. It was completely enclosed.
Yeah, it's like he even said, like, let's not get this information out because it will hurt the model.
Well, the experiment needs to be
What
repeated.
model? What?
Hey, guys, the
flat Earth
experiment needs to be repeated, is what needs to happen.
Oh, it has been. That's why they're used commercially in airplanes.
No, I mean the exact same thing Bob did. It needs to be redone.
Well,
Just
it
like
has
Bob
been.
Bob-
It has been. This is a
Yeah.
commercial. This is a commercial instrument used by airplanes to detect their motion. So it works. It's used commercially. It's not
Detect
a theoretical.
the Earth's motion
Yeah,
to
it's like
detect
they,
the Earth motion.
Yes.
yeah, that's what they bought it for.
Where's the guy that received the Nobel Prize for this? Nobel Prize for this. I gotta go meet him.
Yeah, I mean,
There was no
it's-
Nobel
it's
Prize
funny.
needed because it was
What do you mean?
discovered
There's no
hundreds of
Nobel
years ago.
Prize?
It was
This
discovered
This
hundreds of
hasn't
years
that hasn't
ago
even been- it hasn't even
Hey,
proved
when was it
anywhere.
discovered hundreds of years ago that the Earth is
by
spinning?
Foucault. By Foucault.
There's-
By the
yeah.
guy who played with
Started.
pendulums.
Yes, pendulums prove that the Earth moves.
So something that's attached to the Earth is actually proving that the Earth is moving. When did the Earth move underneath it?
The Earth has always moved.
When has it moved underneath it?
That's what a pendulum
you tickled-
shows.
I think you
pendulums-
tickled Jedi. to the
Pendulums
point of-
prove. Pendulums prove.
So y'all
that the
couldn't
Earth
demonstrate
rotates.
how the Coriolis effect was actually there. And now you're going to pendulums on the Earth, stuck on the Earth at a fixed frame.
Have you guys
Literally.
actually
Yeah, but
done the
pendulum is
math
fixed
With
on a
added
higher point
energy
on
to
the
make
Earth.
them
on the
move.
pendulum?
Pendulum fixed on a higher point above the Earth ground, right? Above the surface of the ground.
I'm gonna work out some
So
math.
it will always.
And you're
it will
telling me
always
you're
display
telling me
same
that the
thing.
hot air balloon is not?
Correct.
Because, yeah,
Hot air
it's not
balloons are
fixed.
not fixed.
It's not fixed on a string. A pendulum is fixed on a string above the Earth, and the weight of it is closer to the Earth. So when you make it swing, it will always show the same thing.
You know what we need? We need a balloon tethered to a merry-go-round, and
Oh
we
my
need a
God.
pendulum tethered to a merry-go-round. Hold on, chill out.
Yeah.
Just a little experiment, little observation you could do. And I guess you could put the balloons on different places on the merry-go-round, and you could put the tethered pendulum on different places of the merry-go-round. But I don't think that's going to prove any motion, like from where
Right,
it's coming
that
from.
Yeah,
Unless you're on
would
the
be a-
outside and you see somebody spin the merry-go-round while everything else is still.
but why are you still going to the merry-go-round? Like, do you understand that that's a shitty experiment?
And the pendulum is a good one? What?
Yes.
Mine added a merry-go-round.
It will
Mine
always
actually
be
added
the same
something
thing.
that's spinning so you could see what
What?
something would look like if it was attached to a spinning object.
Does a merry-go-round represent the Earth on a globe model?
Does the Earth rotate? Does the Earth
Yes.
rotate?
Yes.
Is the
Does the merry-go-round rotate?
Is the Earth
Yes,
a
it does.
round object that is placed on another object that is many times bigger than it, many times more massive than it? That's a sphere. Is that what it is? Because a merry-go-round that you see at a fucking entertainment park or whatever is not at all representative.
Whoever said
the
so?
globe
The Earth is a sphere now. The Earth is a sphere now.
Yes, of course it is. We've known that for
Oh,
thousands of
really?
years.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
What did people say before? Did someone else that it's like a shape of a fucking fish? Or
Oh no, I thought it was an oblate spheroid. Isn't that what's going on?
all right. So you want to go more into specifics? Okay. So
No,
it
we need you
is
to
an
speak
oblate.
correctly. Speak correctly. That's all.
Yeah, but
That's
if
all.
I say it's a sphere, and if I compare it to an oblate spheroid, dude, it's essentially still a perfect sphere.
I like how everything keeps changing with you. Argument.
No,
It's so funny
it's
how everything keeps changing. Right?
dude. Now you
Just a little
just say that. You just say that.
I just say
It is
that.
a sphere. It is a sphere.
They say that. They say
Like-
that, dude.
You say that. Yeah, I mean, the scientists say that too, but it's not like how you think it.
Oh, really?
It's an oblate
Wow, so
spheroid, but you know what? It's like
so it's
on
not
the equator.
pear-shaped? It's not pear-shaped?
That's with the mass that is distributed around the Earth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but do you always have to say it's a fucking pear shape, man? It's a sphere.
The Earth is not
They
pear
said
shaped.
it was a pear.
The difference
It's
is
not a pear.
the difference is from an oblate spheroid is like a 20-kilometer difference from the North Pole to the equator. Okay.
So everybody in the solar system is an oblate spheroid?
No.
Yeah, kind of. To be honest, yeah. Yeah, actually, it is. There's no perfect sphere there.
Can y'all agree with each other? I mean, y'all both have two different views. He said no, and you said yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you don't understand.
This is the problem with you guys' stuff, man.
Is it with our stuff, really? I mean, I guess we kind of can agree with how far the sun is away and shit. It's just not... You have to understand, most people don't care about this shit, okay? Most people just don't think about it. They don't research it.
They're not supposed to. They learned it when they were in diapers.
It doesn't matter if they learn it, however. Most people don't think about it because it does not matter. Okay?
Well,
we just discussed this shit because it matters.
Does it matter or does it not? Like,
I mean, it doesn't matter
if it doesn't matter. So why does it matter to you if it doesn't matter?
Because I enjoy the discussion.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Okay,
right?
so
it doesn't
this is
matter.
Rusty, right?
In general, it doesn't matter to the general